Good morning. I'm actually broadcasting from a car. Something different. Wife had a doctor's appointment and I drove her up this morning. So I figured, what the heck, I'll get all of these loaded up. I actually recorded this last night, but I think I closed out of it and it didn't save. So I'm going to do it again. Second time's the charm, right? Hopefully not the third time. So today for Woods, I'm going to talk about screws, fasteners. Uh, it's one of those things where most people just they take my class and there's what, three different main types of screws. Yeah, there's the assorted ones and the bins and stuff, but for the most part, there's three different types. They're black, square-headed. Yeah, y'all coming. Every time I do these, ugh, doesn't matter. Every time, doesn't matter what I'm doing. I always end up yawning. Doesn't matter, or I should say, the ones that we have in the classroom available are inch and a quarter, 1 inch, 2.5. I think they're number sixes or number eights in diameter, and then square drive, black oxide. That's what everybody uses. Uh, are those the best for everything? No. I wouldn't use those on an outdoor project. They're going to rust away and fall apart and fail. They're good for indoor projects, they're good for furniture, and they may not be even the best for, some of the things that we're going to do. But over time, that's what I have found to be kind of like, I guess, if I'm going to buy screws in bulk, those are the most used ones. So McMullen, I'm at home, I'm building a project, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to buy. What should I look at getting? Let's start with the very basics. Types of screwdrivers out there. For the longest time, it was slotted and Phillips. That's what you saw for woodworking screws. And slotted screws, I don't know how our forefathers or whoever even did it. Have you ever tried to put a screw that has just a flat tip or a slotted into a fresh piece of wood? You sit there and it falls over and you end up hitting your finger. It doesn't work if there's not a pre-drilled hole. Phillips, obviously better. However, the problem is you get into like oak or a harder wood where you start having to put some torque on it, and if your driver slips out or if your driver's not the right size Phillips driver, then next thing you know it's stripped out and you made that Phillips into just a big round hole in there or like a cone shape, and you're going, oh, now what? So in comes square drive and Torx. That's oops, this one here and this one there. Square drive, can it be stripped out? Sure, everything can be. Uh, but the reality of it is square drive doesn't typically strip out, and Torx I've never seen strip out either. No. Did bring up pop in here. I should say one of those waters. I'm drinking that, but I'm doing this from the yawns. I have seen people strip out, or not strip out, but ruin a Torx. I drink the orange bubbly's because they're yummy. I have seen people strip them out in the sense of like they're using a smaller size Torx head than was rated. So, if it's a number 12 Torx, use a number 12 bit or driver. Some of the other ones in here that I have never seen some of these. I mean, hex drive, yeah, but like pentalope and torque set and all these other oddball things, I have never seen. Now, the ones I have seen that are you once I tell you where that you're going to see them, you're like, oh, I have seen those. Security torques and one ways. Security torques. Notice it looks like a Torx, but it has this hole in the middle. That's because the actual screw itself has this pin in the middle. The idea being that only people with a special bit can use them. Thing is, now you can get them on Amazon. They're no longer. It used to be one of those things like you had to work for a special company or have credentials to buy those. Not anymore. You can get them on Amazon. So the whole idea of like nobody can take this if I use these screws. But again, nobody's going to go to the hassle too. Because typically where you see these, urinal or not urinals, bathroom stalls, they're held together with either security torques or one-way bits. One-way bits only tighten, but then they're like smoothed over so that when the driver goes back and you try to loosen it, you can't loosen it. So that's where you're going to see those in places where they don't want you taking things apart. Um, Street signs. Street signs are typically held together with security torques. So woodworking, stick to torques and square drive. They do make a combination Phillips with like a square headed thing in there in case you don't have the bit. That's fine too, the combination. But on to the next thing. Whoa, we're over at McFeelys website. This is where I buy my screws from for the classroom because they ship in bulk. I can buy, well, you can see quantity 100, quantity 1,000. And this is typically what I buy too, is the black oxide coated right there. Quantity 1,000. I buy them typically by the 5,000 or 7,000. And oh, there's a dog cry for help, something. I hate pop-ups. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of that still. Anyways, so with the square drive, you can see, 1.5, 2.5, whatever the size. So here's the next rule on fasteners. Know your application. Is this going to be inside or outside? Is the screw going to be exposed or not exposed? In other words, are you going to sink it in down deep and put a plug over it? Not wood filler. Uh, if it's going to be sunk down deep into the wood and recessed in, I would probably, if it was outdoor, still use a outdoor rated screw, something that's either galvanized or coated with a paint, like a deck screw. These screws that you see on the screen right here, these would not be good outside. They'll rust away. They will rust away. It may take 10 years, but you're going to go sit on your picnic table and go, what happened? Uh, these are good for furniture building and general purpose. Now, there are other styles, such as like, I don't know, like right here. These are made for pocket holes, and others the Craig jig. They almost have like a washer-like top to them. They're specially designed. Could you use the other screws? Yeah, you're not gonna be happy with the results. Same with like this one here. See like the washer-like head? Those are for Craig jigs. Hey, Mr. McMullen, there's some bronze screws. They also make brass. Why would I want those? Boat building, because even the coated screws eventually could fail. Brass and bronze won't rust away. They tarnish, but that's why they use them in boats. So know the application that you're going to use, and that's the nice thing about McFeelys. You can see on the left hand of the screen. You can read. What am I going to use it for? What kind of driver do I want? What length? Which leads me to the next part of this. The lady that just walked by looks really familiar. Hmm. Um, which leads me to the next part of this. How long should the screw be? Here's McMullen's rule. If you're putting two boards together like this, whether they're side by side or on top of each other, the length of the screw should be 1.5 times the thickness of the first board. So if I got a 1-inch board and a 1-inch board, I want a 1.5-inch screw. If you're putting a board together like this, where you're going from through the grain into end grain, you can probably go at least, if not double the thickness of your first board, or 2.5 times. So if it's a 1-inch board going into a 1-inch wide board like this, and you're screwing in, I would probably go with like a 2.5 or a 2-inch screw because end grain not as strong. And again, on all this, I cannot emphasize enough: pre-drill, 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 pre-drill. I don't care if you're going into pine, whatever, just pre-drill. Yes, it's time consuming, but you'll be so much happier with the results. You're not going to split wood open, it just pre-drill. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Fasteners, as far as screws go. Uh, the takeaway, there's, well, like on the McFeely site here, there's probably 1,000 different types of screws that that's all the business does is fasteners. So know your application, know how long you need things to be, and know too, even the thread type. Fine thread can be used in hardwoods and salt. Like what's it used for? If you got questions, these companies, they'll be able to answer your questions. Uh, but mainly, my biggest thing is know length, know your drive type, and know what the application for it is. If you know those things, you'll be pretty. You know enough to be dangerous. All right. No assignment with this. Again, no assignment. I do my assignments on Thursday. I'm just gonna say more and more of you are not doing anything, and I get it. Oh, Mr. McMullen, whatever. Can you just shoot me like a message or an email just to say, hey, I watch your videos, or hey, I'm still here. If you don't do the assignments, that's up to you, I guess. I'd like you to do the assignments. I'd like you to further, this thing, but it is what it is. But shoot me a message, just tell me you're okay. I mean, so many of you just dropped off the face of the earth, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, we got rid of the seniors, so it's a smaller class size now, right? All right. See you Thursday. Take care.